Professor Velanara had taught xenobiology at the Galactic Institute for 7 cycles, and in all that time, she had never been contradicted by her own subject matter. Her lectures on gravitational tolerance were considered definitive across 12 star systems. The delicate xanthi hung from their anti-gravity perches, the gelatinous quelm floated in their suspension tanks, and the insectoid crictar skittered nervously on their 6 legs, all comfortable in the Institute's standard 04G environment. No known sentient species, Velanara clicked through her translator, her crystalline form refracting the soft blue light of the lecture hall, can survive in gravitational fields exceeding 0.8 G for extended periods. The physiological stress is simply too great. Cellular structures collapse, skeletal frameworks fracture, cardiovascular systems fail catastrophically. She displayed a holographic image of a gravitational spectrum, with danger zones marked in crimson. This is why the Death World's planets with 1G or high remain quarantined. They are geological curiosities, nothing more. Life may exist there in primitive forms, but intelligence, impossible. In the back row, Madison Chen raised her hand. Velanara's sensory nodes swiveled toward the newcomer. The human had arrived at the Institute 3 cycles ago through some bureaucratic anomaly that no one quite understood. She wore a simple gray uniform and sat in a specially reinforced chair, one of several modifications the maintenance crew had grudgingly installed. Yes, Cadet Chen. Professor, I'm confused, Madison said, her voice carrying easily through the amphitheater. You said no species survives 1G gravity, but Earth, my homeworld, has exactly 1G, so how am I not crushed right now? The lecture hall fell silent. 17 different species turned their various sensory organs toward the human. Even the quelm stopped their perpetual undulating Velanara-esque crystalline structure, flickered the equivalent of a nervous laugh. Cadet Shen, I believe you misunderstand the standard measurements. Your homeworld must be classified differently, perhaps 0.7 or 0.8 G at most. The translation matrix sometimes. No ma'am. Madison stood up, and several students instinctively retreated. The human moved with such casual grace despite her mass. Earth is definitely 1G. That's literally what the G in the measurement stands for on Earth gravity. 9.8 meters per second squared. Velanara consulted her datapad, her confidence wavering. That cannot be correct. Let me access the xenological database. The holographic display shifted, pulling up Earth's planetary data. The numbers materialized in cold, precise lines. Planet Earth, surface gravity, 10 G, 9.807 meters per second squared. Classification, Death World Class 12. Quarantine status, lifted pending review. The lecture hall erupted in chittering, clicking, and electronic warbling. A xanthi student actually fainted, its gossamer form drifting slowly to the padded floor. This is clearly an error, Velanara insisted, though her light refraction patterns betrayed her uncertainty. Cadet Chen, you must be using gravity assistance technology. Exoskeleton, cellular reinforcement nano. Madison looked down at herself, then back at the professor. No ma'am, this is just ... me. Regular human. We all grow up in 1G. Our babies develop in 1G. Our elderly live in 1G. She paused. Well, most of them do. Some prefer Mars at 0.38 G for retirement, but that's more about the views than the gravity. A Kriktar student's translator screeched. But the bone density required, the muscular development, the cardiac output. Yeah, Madison nodded. We have pretty dense bones, and our hearts are basically high-pressure pumps. We need them to push blood all the way up to our brains against gravity. She tapped her chest. This thing beats about 100,000 times a day, every day, for like 80 years if you're lucky. Another student, a floating quelm, burbled a question. But the energy expenditure, how do you survive? Madison shrugged, a gesture that made several students flinch at the casual display of muscle control. We eat a lot, I guess. Humans consume around 2,000 calories daily. More if we're active. We're actually pretty efficient considering we're fighting gravity with every single movement. Professor Velanara was frantically cross-referencing data now. The galactic survey of Sol 3 was conducted 300 cycles ago. The planet was deemed hostile to all known life. How did you? She stopped, her crystalline form paling to near transparency. Oh no, ma'am. The survey noted primitive bipedal fauna but classified them as pre-sentient due to the impossibility of developing complex neural structures under such gravitational stress. Velanara's voice dropped to a whisper. We missed you. For 3 centuries, we missed an entire sentient species because we couldn't imagine intelligence surviving those conditions. Marcus Webb, another human student and Madison's friend, raised his hand from 3 rows ahead. If it makes you feel better, Professor, we didn't know you guys existed either. We just assumed we were alone because, well, space is big and nobody was answering our radio signals. Radio signals, Velanara repeated numbly. You were screaming into the void using electromagnetic radiation. For like 200 years. Yeah, Marcus confirmed. We figured if anyone was out there, they'd hear us eventually. We filtered those out as cosmic noise, Velanara admitted. No civilized species uses such primitive communication. The awkward silence stretched until Madison spoke again. So, about the gravity thing, does this mean I can get extra credit, since I'm apparently a living contradiction to xenobiology? Despite everything, Velanara's form brightened slightly a laugh. Cadet Chen, I believe we'll need to rewrite the entire curriculum. Your species doesn't just survive 1G gravity, you evolved in it, thrive in it, and apparently find our standard environments so gentle that you need weighted exercise equipment to maintain your physiology. That's actually true, Marcus chimed in. The gym here is kind of a joke, no offense. Over the following cycles, the Galactic Institute would indeed rewrite its understanding of gravitational biology. Humans became subjects of fascinated study, their redundant organ systems, their remarkable healing capabilities, their absurd physical resilience, all byproducts of evolving on a death world. But on that day, in that lecture hall, Madison Chen simply sat back down in her reinforced chair and smiled. So, Professor, should we move on to the lesson about atmospheric pressure? Because I have some questions about that too. Velanara's crystalline structure flickered with what might have been resignation or perhaps excitement. In a universe full of wonders, the galaxy had just discovered its most improbable one, a species that didn't just survive the impossible. They called it home, and they were just getting started.